Hey guys, it's Melanie. Welcome to my channel. Today I have another book haul for you, so stay tuned. So this is my December book haul. Yes, I know it's late. Aren't they all? Anyway, I have 15 books here that I accumulated in the month of December from subscription boxes, from books that I ordered off of Amazon, and books that I was given as Christmas gifts. So let's just jump right into it. The first 3 books that I have here are books that I actually pre-ordered on Amazon, and they came in December. So the first book that I have here is The Queen of Nothing by Holly Black. This is the 3rd book in the Folk of Air series, and I pulled up the first book, which actually I have on my shelf over there, but it's okay. I pulled it up on Goodreads to tell you about The Cruel Prince, which is book 1. Jude was 7 when her parents were murdered, and she and her 2 sisters were stolen away to live in the treacherous High Court of Fairy. 10 years later, Jude wants nothing more than to belong there, despite her mortality, sorry. But many of the Fae despise humans, especially Prince Carton, the youngest and wickedest son of the High King. To win a place at the court, she must defy him and face the consequences. As Jude becomes more deeply embroiled in palace intrigues and deceptions, she discovers her own capacity for trickery and bloodshed. But as betrayal threatens to drown the courts of Fairy in violence, Jude will need to risk her life in a dangerous alliance to save her sisters and Fairy itself. And I did read the first 2 books a while ago, but I think I was recovering from surgery when I was listening to the audiobooks of them, and I really didn't retain that much from them. I do remember the first one a lot better than I remember the second one, so I'm gonna have to reread them in order to read this. Okay, next up we have Children of Virtue and Vengeance. This is the sequel to Children of Blood and Bone. I really enjoyed reading that. It's about a girl named Zelly, and her people have had their magic taken from them, and it's kind of her mission to bring magic back to her people. And it was really good. I really enjoyed it, and I'm looking forward to reading this. But again, I feel like I'm gonna have to reread that before I go and get into this one. Okay, this next one I have read a couple of times, but I needed this edition. So it is the 10th anniversary of Clockwork Angel by Cassandra Clare. This is book 1 in the Infernal Devices series. I absolutely adore all of the Shadowhunter books, and I think the Infernal Devices is probably my favorite out of all of the series, or out of all of the different series of Shadowhunters. And when I saw this, I had to get it. I absolutely love these special edition covers that they did. I do wish, however, that this edition had the gold foil edges like City of Bones in their 10th anniversary did, because they have a beautiful cover that's blue with the gold foil all over it, but it also has gold edges, and this one does not. But it does have all of the beautiful, absolutely stunning art inside. Love this so much. This is set in 1800s London. It's before the Mortal Instruments, and I love it so much. And it's kind of hard to really describe if you don't know about the Shadowhunters world. But Shadowhunters, they have human and angel blood, and they hunt demons and protect humans and that kind of thing. And yeah, I'm currently actually reading the graphic novels for the internal devices right now and loving those. Though I enjoy the actual novel a lot more. But yes, I ordered this off of Amazon as soon as I saw it. Okay, these next 4 books are books that came in the Christmas Advent box. So they're not necessarily books that I would pick up for myself. I will probably give them a shot, but they're more like historical fiction or women's fiction, and they're not my kind of genre, but I did really enjoy the box. The first one here is Secret Sisters by Joy Calloway. This says, Illinois, 1881, Windsor College sophomore Beth Carrington has 2 goals to fulfill by the time she graduates. Obtain a medical degree and establish a women's fraternity, Beta Xi Beta, that will help young women like herself to connect with and support one another while attending the male-dominated WITSIP. Neither is an easy task. The sole female student in the physician's program, Beth is constantly called out by her professors and peers for having the audacity not to concentrate on a more fitting subject like secretarial studies. Meanwhile, secret organizations are off limits, and simply by crowding together in a dank basement room and creating a sense of camaraderie, she and her small group of fraternity sisters risk expulsion. In order to have the fraternity recognized, she turns to the most powerful student on campus, Senior Grant Richardson, Iota Gamma fraternity president and the scion of a WITSIP family, a man she's only acquainted with because of her long-standing friendship with his fraternity brother, Will Buchanan. Staunchly traditional, Grant doesn't see the purpose of this women's organization, but captivated by Beth, he agrees to give her a helping hand. What he doesn't know is how many will stop at nothing to keep her burgeoning organization out of the record books, and whom she can actually trust along the way. As Beth fights for her beloved Beta Xi Beta to be recognized, she will uncover deep secrets about the college and those who surround her, and will have to put both love and friendship on the line so that history can be made. Next is All is Beauty Now by Sarah Faber. And this one, let's see, how does it look? It's just kind of cream colored with red font. This says, Brazil, 1962. A young woman walks into the water off a crowded beach and vanishes. A year later, in the wake of their eldest daughter's presumed drowning, a once golden family prepares to leave behind what had formerly been paradise. As they attend a series of goodbye parties and count down the days to their departure, we are taken into the heart of a family whose many charms hide more troubling truths. There is the charismatic father whose emotional extremes are becoming increasingly disturbing. His long-suffering wife who makes a mistake that has shattering consequences for the people she's meant to protect. And their 2 remaining daughters, both on the precipice of joining the adult world with all its secrets and lies. Then there is the lost daughter herself, undone by her attempts to grasp at happiness. From the opulence of the legendary Copacabana Club to the poverty of Rio de Janeiro's fishing villages, this sensational and beautifully written novel reveals the soul of a family living in the shadow of tragedy, on the brink of a new life, if only they can make peace with the past. And it sounds like it's going to be really moving. And I don't know, this could be a really good one. Next up, we have Love and Other Consolation Prizes by Jamie Ford. When I was reading about this before, I kept saying constellation, and when I was editing that, I was like, oh, and I said it like that every time, but it's consolation prizes. This says, from the best-selling author of Hotel on the Corner of Bitter and Sweet comes a powerful novel inspired by a true story about a boy whose life is transformed at Seattle's epic 1909 World's Fair. For 12-year-old Ernest Young, a charity student at a boarding school, the chance to go to the World's Fair feels like a gift. But only once he's there amid the exotic exhibits, fireworks, and Ferris wheels does he discover that he is the one who is actually the prize. The half-Chinese orphan is astounded to learn he will be raffled off, a healthy boy to a good home. The winning ticket belongs to the flamboyant madam of a high-class brothel, famous for educating her girls. There, Ernest becomes the new houseboy and befriends Maisie, the madam's precocious daughter, and a bold scullery maid named Fawn. Their friendship and affection form the first real family Ernest has ever known, and against all odds, this new sporting life gives him the sense of home he's always desired. But as the Grand Dame succumbs to an occupational hazard and their world of finery begins to crumble, all three must grapple with hope, ambition, and first love. 50 years later, in the shadow of Seattle's Second World Fair, Ernest struggles to help his ailing wife reconcile who she once was with who she wanted to be, while trying to keep family secrets hidden from their grown-up daughters. Against a rich backdrop of post-Victorian vice, suffrage, and celebration, Love and Other Consolation Prizes is an enchanting tale about innocence and devotion in a world where everything and everyone is for sale. And then the last book from that box is A Piece of the World by Christina Baker Klein. And this says, to Christina Olson, the entire world was her family's remote farm on the small coastal town of Cushing, Maine. Born in the home her family had lived in for generations and increasingly incapacitated by illness, Christina seemed destined for a small life. Instead, for more than 20 years, she was host and inspiration for the artist Andrew Wyeth and became the subject of one of the best-known paintings of the 20th century, Christina's World. As she did in her beloved bestseller, Orphan Train, Christina Baker Klein interweaves fact and fiction in a powerful novel that illuminates a little-known part of America's history, bringing into focus the flesh and blood woman behind the portrait. Klein vividly imagines her life with her complicated relationship to her family and her past, and her special bond with one of our greatest modern artists. Told in evocative and lucid prose, A Piece of the World is a story about the burdens and blessings of family history, and how artist and muse can come together to forge a new and timeless legacy. Okay, this next book came in their Christmas box, and I actually have read this one. It is called A Royal Christmas Wish by Lizzie Shane, and I absolutely love this book. I think I gave this, it was either 4 stars or 5 stars when I read it. Loved it. It's about a girl who meets this guy. Turns out he's a prince, and she's like, okay, well, I have no chance with him because he's a freaking prince. And she ends up finding this bracelet. She goes to return it to this old woman, and turns out the old woman is like a fairy godmother, and she makes a wish to have this perfect Christmas. And she wakes up the next day and she's living in the palace in this country where this prince is. She's married to the prince, and they're getting ready to have their first Christmas together, and it's going to be this perfect Christmas. But the problem is, once she realizes, okay, this is for real, she also realizes that her wish ends at midnight Christmas. Once she's had her perfect Christmas, it's over, and she goes back to her normal life, and she does not want that. It's super cute. I loved it. I highly recommend it. And then the next book, which was in their New Year's Eve Up All Night box, and I've read this one too, was Regretting You by Colleen Hoover. This is about a girl named Morgan who at 17 gets pregnant, ends up marrying the father of her child. His name's Chris. And fast forward 17 years to, they have this 17-year-old daughter named Clara. And Clara thinks her mom is boring and predictable and doesn't want to be anything like her mom. And her mom doesn't want her to make the same mistakes she did, so she's super strict on her. And Chris is sort of the glue that's holding them all together. And then he dies in a tragic car accident. and this happens pretty early on. But through that, they have to deal with their relationship, the mother and daughter relationship, and also things that come out as a result of this tragedy. And this was a hard book to read. It really was. It was hard for me to read, but I ended up giving it 5 stars because it was an emotional read. And yeah, it was really good. Okay, so this next book is a book that was sent to me by the author to, read with Xander and check it out and see if we liked it. And that is a Quirks Academy by Catherine Pelosi. And this sounds super cute. It says, "Science in progress, enter at your own risk." Junior science geniuses Augustine, Celeste, and Oscar can't believe their luck when they're accepted into an elite and mysterious Science Academy summer camp run by the elusive inventor Quirk. But things at the Academy are not quite what they seem, and the three quickly realize that they'll need to put their squabbles aside and their heads together if they're ever to get out of there alive. A page-turning adventure jam-packed with surprises, Quirks Academy is bound to cause a hair-raising reaction. It sounded super cute, and I have the little letter from the author here. I think she's from Australia, and so yeah, she sent me this. I can't wait to read it with Xander. I think it's going to be a lot of fun to read. Okay, these last 5 books are books that I got as Christmas gifts. These all came from Marty as part of the Advent Christmas gift he did for the entire month of December, and it was amazing and I absolutely loved it. If you want to see all of the gifts that I got throughout the month, you'll have to go back and watch my vlogs from the whole month of December. But it was amazing, and I got so many fabulous bookish goodies, and it was just great. Okay, so the books that he got me, the first one we have is The Light Between Worlds by Laura E. Weymouth. And I think this cover is so pretty. It's a gray with like silver font. This says, 6 years ago, Evelyn and Philippa Hapwell cowered from airstrikes in a London bomb shelter. But that night took a turn when the sisters were swept away to a strange and beautiful kingdom called the Woodlands, where they lived for years in a forest straight out of myth and legend. When they finally returned to London, no time had passed and nothing had changed. Nothing except themselves. Now Evelyn is desperate to return to the Woodlands no matter what it takes, while Philippa just wants to move on. But when Ev goes missing, Philippa must confront the depth of her sister's despair. As the weeks unfold, Philippa wonders if Ev truly did find a way home, or if the weight of their worlds finally pulled her under. And I think it sounds so good. Okay, these next 2 books are actually part of a series, which I already have book 1 and book 2 from this series. So Marty got me the novella, which is Reignited, and he also got me book 3, which is Reunited. And I pulled book 1 off my shelf, which is Reawakened. And aren't these just stunning? Okay. This says, when 17-year-old Liliana Young enters the Metropolitan Museum of Art one morning during spring break, the last thing she expects to find is a live Egyptian prince with godlike powers who has been reawakened after 1,000 years of mummification. And she really can't imagine being chosen to aid him in a quest that will lead them across the globe. But fate has taken hold of Lily, and she, along with her son Prince, Amon, must travel to the Valley of the Kings, raise his brothers from the dead, and stop an evil, shape-shifting god named Seth from taking over the world, all before the next full moon. From New York Times bestselling author Colleen Hook comes an epic adventure about 2 star-crossed teens who must battle mythical forces and ancient curses on a journey with more twists and turns than the Nile itself. and I think it sounds really cool. And the covers, I think, are all just so pretty. And now that I have, I think, the whole series, I can read it all in one go. So yay. Also, he got me Winterwood by Shay Earnshaw. This says, "Be careful of the dark, dark wood, especially the woods surrounding the town of Furhaven. Some say these woods are magical, cursed even. Rumored to be a witch, only Nora Walker knows the truth. She and the Walker women before her have always shared a special connection with the woods. And it's this special connection that leads Nora to Oliver Huntsman, the same boy who disappeared from the camp for wayward boys weeks ago, and in the middle of the worst snowstorm in years. He should be dead, but here he is, alive and left in the woods with no memory of the time he'd been missing." But Nora can feel an uneasy shift in the woods at Oliver's presence, and it's not too long after that Nora realizes she has no choice but to unearth the truth behind how the boy she has come to care so deeply about survived his time in the forest and what led him there in the first place. What Nora doesn't know, though, is that Oliver has secrets of his own, secrets he'll do anything to keep buried. Because, as it turns out, he wasn't the only one who went missing on that fateful night all those weeks ago. For as long as there have been fairy tales, we have been warned to fear what lies within the dark, dark woods. And in Winterwood, New York Times bestselling author Shay Earnshaw shows us why. And, oh, look at that cover. That's so pretty. I don't know why it got so bright white there. Okay. Anyway, the last book I have here is The Devouring Gray by Christine Lynn Herman. And I have heard mixed reviews about this, but it's still a book that I'm really, really interested in reading. I'm excited for it. It sounds really, really cool. And this says, after the death of her sister, 17-year-old Violet Saunders finds herself dragged to Four Paths, New York. Violet may be a newcomer, but she soon learns her mother isn't. They belong to one of the revered founding families of the town, where stone bells hang above every doorway and danger lurks in the depths of the woods. For generations, Justin Hawthorne's bloodline has protected Four Paths from the Gray, a lifeless dimension that imprisons a brutal monster. After Justin fails to inherit his family's powers, his mother is determined to keep this humiliation a secret. But Justin can't let go of the future he was promised and the town he swore to protect. Ever since Harper Carlyle lost her hand to an accident that left her stranded in the Gray for days, she has vowed revenge on the person who abandoned her, Justin Hawthorne. There are ripples of dissent in Four Paths, and Harper seizes an opportunity to take down the Hawthornes and change her destiny, to what extent even she doesn't know yet. The Gray is growing stronger every day, and its victims are piling up. When Violet accidentally unleashes the monster, all three must band together with the other founders to unearth the dark truths behind their family's abilities before the Gray devours them all. And yeah, I've heard really good things and I've heard really bad things, and I want to know where I'm going to stand on this because it does sound so good. It says on here, fans of the Raven Boys and Stranger Things rejoice. This is your new obsession, Claire Legrand. Okay, so those are all 15 books that I accumulated in the month of December. Have you read any of them? Did you like them? Did you not? Comment down below and let me know. Well, I hope you guys enjoyed this video. If you did, give me a big thumbs up. If you'd like to see more videos like this, click that subscribe button down below. And until next time, remember to always be completely you. Bye!